On the subject of the US and the Secretary of Defense, when you went to the US a couple of months back, they had asked you for an interview with regard to the Secretary of Defense, but you couldn't have faced that interview. Some said that you had agreed to it. Is that true? You had agreed to the interview?
No, I never agreed.
Okay.
Earlier they said that I can reject if I want, and but that will go on record against me because I am a permanent resident. I am not a citizen like Secretary of Defense. I have a green card only. But when they said I can reject if I want, I was not interested to make an official complaint to embassy or to the country, Sri Lanka. But I only told my private lawyer, to one of my friends. But next day they rang me up and said I have to give it. I have no choice on that. They will be sending a letter to me. They send me a letter. Then because I had no choice to reject, then I informed the government. Otherwise, that is how it happened. But these people don't understand. You know, they understand nothing. The Secretary of Defense and the President and the ambassador there, they are always holding on to the wrong end of everything, no? So they confuse the total matter. Then after that I was told, because they said that they want to interview me about the war crimes involvement of Secretary of Defense. Earlier they said Defense Minister. When I said Defense President, they said no, that is his brother, Secretary of Defense. So, but when I was there, I learned before the Secretary of Defense went to USA, he has been questioned for 2 hours. So I have a feeling, I am very well confident that he must have mentioned my name for something during those the interrogation, 2 hours by the immigration. That is why they wanted to contact me and check back something about what he uttered most probably. That's why they said they would interview me about his involvement. But he never had mentioned that to anybody in this country. It only came out because I went there. Otherwise nobody knew that he was interrogated for 2 hours. He didn't even tell me before I left.
So the thing is now, at the time you could have spoken about it because you were still in uniform, but now that you aren't, the US asked you again, the US State Department asked you for an interview again, would you give it?
There is no reason if they ask me about what happened during the war, in good faith, because we did not make any offences, committed any offences. We did everything as per the international rules and regulations. The Army High Commander behaved very well. They never committed any war crimes. They never violated the human rights. They followed everybody, all my officers who worked directly under me actually, who were on operations, offensive operations. So I can give that assurance. I know that they listened to my orders and they did the right thing. This the statement given by some newspaper, and the government is trying to distort that, and that the journalist had also not put it properly on that news article. So the government is trying to exploit on that, trying to say we are betraying the army and various things. But the whole army knows what I am made of. I'll never betray the army who won the war for me, but they betrayed us. I'll give a very good example. When Colombo University wanted to give doctorates to 3 service commanders, President, Secretary and 3 service commanders, President refused to accept the doctorate for the 3 service commanders. He went with his brother, went on the stage and took the doctorates from Colombo University. So that's the way they betrayed us. But we are not like that. I will never let down the people who are under my command. Even if I have to go before any international court or something. The troops know that. They are confident about me.
If they question you with regard to the Secretary of Defense's behavior, you said that he did give orders.
Yeah, there are certain things what he has, if he had done anything, going away from his responsibilities, why should I defend him? If he had violated human rights, or if he had got involved in war crimes, directly or indirectly or something, if he has not done his job, he tried to do my job or something, and try to interfere into the army, the performance, operational performance, there is no reason for me to defend him. And if I have to tell the truth, I will tell. But only thing, I don't want to waste my time over a useless fellow like him.
And then there's the other thing that the government is coming under a lot of pressure with regard to its relations with the international community. So if you came, and there's a lot of talk about how they've made a couple of blunders in that area, but if you came into power, how would you carry out relations with the international community?
So India is the closest neighbor. We can't do anything to upset their, make them upset about their security sentiments, security concerns. So we have to be careful about that. Then other countries like who are doing trade with us, like China on one side, then some East European countries on the other side during the war, and even otherwise long-standing friendly countries. We have to maintain relationship. Then West, we antagonize them because we were not cooperating when they want to clarify something. If there are doubts, why should we hide anything? When we have nothing to hide about the operations and the war, we should have been very open with them without trying to antagonize them. And we have to maintain good relationship with them. That will help us to get that in GSP plus also most probably.
And then also, in the past, there's been a lot of accusations towards you with regard to your treatment of journalists. But this morning you said that when you came into power, you would abolish the Press Council Act. Yet there are people saying that once upon a time you had a hit list for journalists, and that persons like Keith now were on it. So how do you respond to these accusations?
The accusation by this the government and security defense, and we had no involvement. Every time secretary journalists have written something against me, if he has criticized me or something, if that journalist got attacked somewhere, they were and say, oh, the army is attacking the journalist. I heard the president used to summon them, journalists, and say, don't criticize the army. If they do something to you, I can't stop them, and various things, indirectly trying to show that the army is going behind this thing. Even now they are trying to do that to put the media against me. But then there's so many others killed and attacked in Colombo. Not only journalists. It's the same gangs, same thugs, same hit squads like Raviraj, Eastern Province Chief Minister's secretary. Then there were others like Lawyer Valiamuna was grenades were thrown to his house. So all these things are also done. It's not only journalists, so there's a group. I have a feeling this, you know who is manipulating the thugs, who are the people who are violating law and order these days, the government sponsored, most probably. That's why they are trying to put the buck onto us, pass the buck onto us, and try to wash their hands. When I was army commander, they never blamed me.
And my question is, General, on a personal level, what is your opinion of the President as a person and as a leader? Because he is your main opposition at the moment. So, what is your opinion of him?
He is fully indulging himself in the nepotism, growing up his family, and 300 odd relatives are given appointments. Then very close people, very close to him are corrupt, and they are doing a lot of deals. They are buying a lot of the business ventures and factories and buildings and estates in Colombo and outskirts. So he has been always ill-treating those who were patriotic like us. Now they will tell us, Pungo, so a traitor or something very soon you can find, who brought a lot of fame to the country. The same man I brought fame to the country by commanding the army to win the war. Now they are trying to say, no, army commander had nothing to do, the army won the war. So people can't believe 30 years we couldn't do anything, now we have done it under my command. And they are trying to take the credit. As I said earlier, even the doctorate they think only they must get, not others. So their selfish attitude, nobody is going to accept. I think he suspected the army about planning a coup or something. He suspected me. Gotabaya Rajapaksa says he suspected me 1 year ago that I am going to become the president of the country or something. He had said in Lankadeep interview. So if they suspect their own army who brought the fame to the country, suspect the senior commanders who commanded the war, then they are not fit to be the head of states or statesmen.
What do you think in terms of the people that will come to support you, the ones that now support the president or in the past have supported the president? What kind of support do you expect from not just the public of the country, but politicians, professionals, that kind of people? What is the support you expect now that you start?
The educated people. So they must know the country is being ruined, it's going in the wrong direction, no future for the children, and we are not consolidating the war victory we gained, not proceeding forward from there, no consolidation of peace, no signs of development. So they will have to all understand that, guide, do whatever possible to send the message to all the people in the country to ensure that we go for a change and send the corrupt people home.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you.
That was General Sarath Fonseca, presidential candidate, speaking to Daily Mirror Online.